Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins came into the 2024 season with all the swagger and promise of a team on the verge of greatness, fresh off an 11-win season in 2023. And to straight years of building under head coach Mike McDaniel, expectations weren't just high, they were sky high. Pundits were predicting a deep playoff run, fans were dreaming of an AFC championship, and the locker room buzzed with talk of finally taking that next step. But the Dolphins stumbled hard. A disappointing 8-9 record left them watching the playoffs from the couch. What went wrong? Injuries, inconsistency, and maybe something deeper, something more intangible, and that's exactly what defensive and Bradley Chubb pointed to this offseason in a raw and brutally honest assessment of the team's mentality. For Chubb, the biggest issue wasn't talent, coaching, or even bad luck. It was something far more fundamental: effort, unity, and what he calls the lie. Bradley Chubb didn't play a single snap in 2024 due to a serious lower body injury. But make no mistake, he was watching everything, from the sidelines, from the locker room, and from rehab. He was still very much a part of the team's heartbeat. And when he spoke recently, his words hit hard and cut deep. I'm going to say last year, we were lying. Honestly, Chubb said in a now widely circulated quote, point blank, period. We felt it, we put our toe in the water, but we didn't dive all the way in. That metaphor stung because it rang true. The Dolphins didn't lack skill, they lacked full commitment. Chubb went on to say that the team didn't go the extra mile for one another, didn't push through that invisible barrier that separates good from great. It's the kind of leadership Miami's defense sorely missed in 2024, both vocally and physically. Now, in 2025, Chubb is back and he's on a mission. Rehabilitated, restructured, and reignited. He's ready to return to the trenches and bring a new fire to a defense that was, by most metrics, lackluster last year. The Dolphins' defense ranked 27th in the NFL in sack rate, managing just 5.77% per drop back. That's a massive red flag for a team that needs to create pressure to cover up other deficiencies. And while Chubb isn't promising to single-handedly turn things around, his presence brings credibility and hunger. He's been to the Pro Bowl twice. He's been a cornerstone pass rusher since entering the league. But now, more than ever, he understands what it takes off the field, what it means to show up for your teammates in ways that stats can't measure. His goal isn't just to rack up sacks, but to help build something authentic and cohesive in that Dolphins locker room. And it's not just talk. Chubb is already making waves on the practice field. After renegotiating his contract this offseason, a move that signals his long-term buy-in with the franchise. He's been grinding quietly, methodically, and intensely. This week, he was awarded the coveted orange jersey during practice, a Dolphins tradition that highlights standout effort and performance. It was cool, man, Chubb said with a smile. It was dope, just to see all the work come to light. That kind of energy is contagious. Younger players see that. Coaches notice. A guy coming off an injury who has nothing to prove, but still pushes like a rookie trying to make the roster. That sets a tone. It's the tone Miami sorely lacked last year when they let close games slip, failed to finish drives, and ultimately missed the postseason by a narrow margin. There's a reason Chubb's words are resonating in South Florida right now. This isn't just about one player coming back from injury. It's about a culture shift that could define the Mike McDaniel era. Chubb's comments peeled back the curtain on what really happened in 2024. While fans and analysts were scrambling for answers, was it the offensive line, to his inconsistency, injuries to key players, Chubb pointed the finger inward, and that's powerful. He didn't blame the scheme, the coaching, or the front office. He talked about heart, about commitment, about going all in. And when a veteran leader with his resume talks like that, the locker room listens, especially when he's putting the work behind his words. In many ways, this is a make or break season, not just for Chubb, but for the entire Dolphins organization. Chubb's return also shines a spotlight on Miami's need to rebuild its identity on defense. Over the past 2 years, the Dolphins have invested heavily in defensive talent: JALEN, RAMSEY, Xavier Howard, but the results haven't matched the roster on paper. Injuries played a part, yes, but so did miscommunication and inconsistent effort. That's the kind of thing Chubb is calling out. And it's exactly why his leadership is so crucial. He's not just another body in the rotation. He's someone who has seen the peaks and valleys of the NFL. Someone who understands that talent alone doesn't win games. It's about chemistry, grind, and accountability. Chubb's hope and Miami's hope is that 2025 is the year they stop dipping their toe and finally dive all the way in, because in today's NFL, half measures don't cut it, and Chubb, more than anyone, knows that. Of course, there's still a long road ahead. The AFC East remains brutally competitive. The Bills aren't going anywhere. The Jets are banking on a healthy Aaron Rodgers, and the Patriots, well, they're rebuilding but never to be underestimated. Miami can't afford another step backward. The margin for error is razor thin, but the good news, they've got a healthy Chubb. A motivated Chubb. A Chubb who isn't afraid to call it how it is and demand more from himself and his teammates. That mindset might not guarantee wins, but it does change the dynamic. It forces everyone to level up. And if the Dolphins want to become more than just a team with potential, they need leaders like that, leaders who challenge the status quo and push the locker room into uncomfortable but necessary territory. Chubb's NFL journey also gives his words weight. Drafted 5th overall by the Denver Broncos in 2018, he came into the league with sky-high expectations. He delivered early, notching 12 sacks as a rookie before injuries began to slow his ascent. But through it all, through surgeries, trades, and rehab, he's remained focused. His career totals speak volumes: 39.5 sacks, 157 solo tackles, 13 forced fumbles, and 90 quarterback hits. Those are elite numbers when healthy, and that's the key. If Chubb stays on the field in 2025, his impact won't just be felt in the box score, it'll ripple through the entire team. He brings not only pass rush prowess, but also veteran poise and a sense of urgency that Miami sorely needs. His presence could be the difference between another letdown and the breakthrough fans have been craving for years. The 2025 Dolphins won't be judged by how they start. It's all about the finish. Last season proved that fast starts and flashy stats mean little if you can't close out December. And that's exactly what Bradley Chubb is trying to instill in this group. A closer's mentality, practice accolades like the orange jersey are nice, but they don't win games. What wins games is grit, trust, and playing for the man next to you. That's the message Chubb is preaching. That's the culture he wants to help rebuild. And if the Dolphins are serious about becoming a championship caliber team, they'll need to internalize that message. Top to bottom, from the coaching staff to the practice squad, the lie Chubb talked about has to become a thing of the past, because in the NFL, the truth always comes out on Sundays. So here we are, a new season, a fresh slate, and a Miami Dolphins team that, thanks to voices like Bradley Chubb's, might finally be ready to live up to its billing. The stakes are high, the schedule is tough, and the fan base is hungry. But for the first time in a while, there's a sense that this group isn't just talking the talk. They're walking it. And if Chubb can stay healthy and help lead this defense out of the cellar and into the top half of the league, the Dolphins might just become the team nobody wants to face. It starts now, with honesty, with effort, with commitment, no more toe in the water. It's time to dive in, and if Chubb's voice becomes the rallying cry for this new era in Miami, don't be surprised if the results finally match the hype. Still with us, then show some love, hit that like button and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL offseason is never short of surprises, but this might just be one of the biggest shockwaves to hit the league in years. Rumors are swirling around Miami like a Category 5 hurricane, and the eye of the storm is locked on a trade so massive, so unexpected, that it's dominating headlines coast to coast. According to multiple sources close to this situation, the Miami Dolphins and the Dallas Cowboys have reportedly agreed, or are on the verge of agreeing, to a blockbuster trade that would send cornerback JALEN RAMSEY to Dallas in exchange for linebacker MICAH Parsons. That's right, MICAH Parsons, the generational defensive talent, possibly headed to South Beach, while no official statement has been made. Insiders suggest that both front offices have been in intense discussions over the past few weeks. If true, this could completely reshape the identity of both defenses and send ripple effects through the entire league. Now, before fans get too carried away, and believe me, they already are, it's important to understand the why behind such a daring move. On one side, the Cowboys have long been known for their aggressive draft and development strategy, particularly under Jerry Jones' watchful eye. But there's always been a win-now edge to Dallas decisions, and acquiring a lockdown corner like RAMSEY, even if he's a bit older, could be their way of solidifying a secondary that has struggled to match the front seven's intensity. On the flip side, the Dolphins have been flirting with greatness for a couple of seasons now. A team stacked with speed, creativity, and potential on offense. Miami's real need has been that relentless, sideline-to-sideline game-changer on defense. Enter MICAH Parsons, still on his rookie deal, young, hungry, and widely regarded as one of the top 3 defenders in football. If not the best, he would instantly become the heartbeat of Vic Fang. IO scheme. Fans in both cities are already lighting up social media with speculation, theories, and naturally, plenty of disbelief. Some are praising the audacity of the move. Finally, 2 NFL franchises taking a risk big enough to match the energy of NBA-style super trades. Others, more cautiously, are asking if this is really the right time to let go of such cornerstone players. JALEN RAMSEY, while no longer in his absolute prime, still commands respect as a top-tier corner. His leadership and playoff experience are invaluable to a Cowboys defense that has often faltered in the biggest moments. Meanwhile, parting with MICAH Parsons, who's still ascending and redefining what it means to be a linebacker-edge hybrid, would be a gut punch to a Dallas fanbase that believed he was the future face of the franchise. Yet, sometimes, teams make moves not based on comfort but on championship urgency. And that's where this gets even more fascinating. Behind closed doors, league insiders have hinted at some subtle tensions brewing between MICAH Parsons and the Cowboys coaching staff. Not anything explosive or toxic, but enough to warrant whispers about long-term fit. His vocal personality, unmatched intensity, and desire to be used in versatile ways have reportedly clashed at times with a more rigid defensive structure. In Miami, under the guidance of a flexible and modern defensive philosophy, Parsons could be unleashed in ways that might not be possible in Dallas. Conversely, JALEN RAMSEY is the kind of player who fits seamlessly into Dan Quinn's system. Cerebral, aggressive, and experienced. If the two teams are truly thinking chess, not checkers, this trade might be less about who's better now and more about who fits better today. Let's not forget that both teams are at pivotal moments in their Super Bowl timelines. The Dolphins are entering what feels like the peak of their Tua Tagovailoa era, assuming the quarterback stays healthy, with weapons like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle stretching defenses every Sunday. They need someone on the other side of the ball who can anchor the defense and elevate the unit beyond just fast and flashy. MICAH Parsons could be the difference maker that takes them from playoff contenders to legitimate championship threats. As for the Cowboys, the pressure to win now has never been greater. With Dak Prescott under constant scrutiny and the NFC looking wide open post-Brady, grabbing a seasoned veteran like Ramsey might be the final piece of the puzzle that allows Dallas to finally make a deep postseason run. Another angle that can't be ignored is the salary cap gymnastics involved in a trade of this magnitude. JALEN RAMSEY comes with a hefty contract, and although he restructured with Miami last season, the financials remain significant. On the other hand, Parsons is still on his rookie deal, but a mega extension is looming and it's expected to reset the market for defensive players. There's been quiet talk that the Cowboys might be hesitant to commit north of $30 million per year to a non-quarterback, no matter how talented. Meanwhile, the Dolphins have been clearing cap space, and some believe it's not just to make room for Tua's upcoming deal. They may be positioning themselves to lock down a player like Parsons long-term, betting that his presence would justify the financial investment through elite-level production and leadership. Of course, as with any trade of this scale, there's always the risk factor. What if Ramsey doesn't return to form after his knee injury? What if Parsons doesn't mesh well in Miami's defensive scheme? These are questions both franchises will have to weigh carefully before pulling the trigger. Yet, the fact that this conversation is happening at all, with credible sources reporting that talks are serious, speaks volumes about how the NFL is evolving. Gone are the days when players stayed with one team their entire career, or when four-star trades were considered too risky. The new era of football is bold, dramatic, and unafraid of shaking things up. And if this deal goes through, it could set the precedent for more daring, high-stakes swaps in seasons to come. What makes this even more compelling is how it could affect the rest of the league. If you're a rival AFC team, seeing Parsons land in Miami instantly changes how you game plan. If you're an NFC contender, you're now looking at a Cowboys secondary featuring Trevon Diggs and JALEN RAMSEY. That's a terrifying duo, and let's not forget the domino effect this could have on the 2025 draft, free agency, and even other player trades. Teams might feel pressured to make a splash, to show their fans that they're not sitting on the sidelines while Titans move. This could open the door for unexpected names to hit the trade block. Think Nick Bosa, Chris Jones, or even someone like Patrick Surtain. One blockbuster move begets another, and the league could be heading into its most chaotic and thrilling offseason ever. At the end of the day, nothing is official, not yet, but the noise is growing. And when there's this much smoke, there's usually fire. Beat reporters, league insiders, and even some former players have dropped cryptic hints on social media, suggesting that something massive is brewing behind the scenes. While both the Dolphins and Cowboys are publicly silent, as expected, the speculation isn't dying down. In fact, it's gaining momentum by the hour. Whether it's finalized tomorrow, next week, or fizzles out completely, this potential trade has already captured the imagination of fans across the NFL, and for now, we wait, refreshing our feeds, listening for updates, and wondering what a world where MICAH Parsons is a Dolphin and JALEN RAMSEY is a Cowboy might look like. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!